Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the Dromtron channel, and in today's video we're talking about another immaculate BR made by an amazing Fortnite creative builder. This one is in fact not made by DirectMP, however, unlike every other review on this channel so far. No, instead, this map is made by Mr. Brandibuilds, the guy who wants to sell feet pics on OnlyFans, according to one message in a stream by a different YouTuber on his new BR map. And in this video I'm reviewing his new BR map. It's only been out for a few days, and this one's going to be a lot different to the DirectMP reviews because I'm not spending nearly the same amount of time on POIs because, well, this one's so new that there's a lot of, it's probably going to change quite a bit, and like, this is his like first proper one that he can continue working on. So I hope to see its improvement. So I haven't got much on these POIs this time, which is yeah. But let's get into the review now, and let's start off with the pros of Brandi's new map. And there's a lot of pros, most of them being under one section. And the first part is great mobility. And what I prefer to this as is the pads that launch upwards, launch pad, and like there's also the slipstreams everywhere and a glider redeploy. Those three together really allow you to move around the map so well, and it's just it's amazing for a BR map like this one, because it's just such, like, movement is always great in a mini BR map, and I am enjoying moving around on this one because of those three factors: the launch pads across the map, the slipstreams, and glider redeploy. My second point is that the POIs are interesting, mostly. I'll get onto that later. But most of these POIs are so unique, they're so well made, and it's just a really, like, you don't feel like two POIs are the same. And that's what I can get, that's what I say. They all feel really different from each other, whilst all feeling like they fit on the same island, which I really enjoy in a mini BR map. My third point is a huge one, and it's the core features that he's added, such as fast travel, which is great for mobility, like the first point. And like the fast travel points are really great, love them. The healing points in like POIs, really good for heals, shields, and like a great thing to start off the map with. The quests, they're fun, they're engaging, and because there's enough variety of them, they don't get stale too easily. One nitpick I would have is that I feel like the first quest that you get should like cycle, because seeing the same three quests every time I load in, it's really difficult to decide what I'm gonna do. It's just a small nitpick though. There's also the capture point, which is like a fun mechanic from BR added into this map, and because like it's such a small, faster map, it really builds engagement into these capture points. The random events, quite a lot of mini BR maps have this now. Brandi's are some of the best I've seen, such as the drought at the pond, that is crisp, and the anti-gravity, that is just so much fun. Like those events, random events, they make the map so much fun in my opinion. There's also the speed bridges, which are staple in Pete's old maps, and well, I enjoy them. Great mobility, like the first point. The crafting, it's fun to see crafting in BR. We ain't seen that in ages, and it's fun to see it come back in Brandi's one. The floating at the start is also a great mechanic for being able to land where you want. You don't feel pressured into landing somewhere which you can get to, because you have the ability to glide across the entire map. But I will get back to that in my cons, because there is a con that comes from it. And the last of the core features is campfires, because who doesn't like some extra healing across the map? And my next point in the pros is that the pallet man. I love pallet man. He's already my favourite person on the map. Seeing as well, it's the only person on the map, I'm pretty sure. But still, if there was another person, pallet man would still be up on top. And like, finally, from the pros, is that the terrain is great. I like the terrain. It's like the modular terrain is really well used in this map. And honestly, if I see more modular terrain used like this, I would not mind trying to learn modular terrain. But with all these pros, I mean, there is a few cons which I should point out. The first one being that the motorcycles on the map are kinda useless because of the huge rivers which cover the map. Now, usually it wouldn't be too much of an issue if a river was in the way. You could use a bridge, but because the bridges are so sparing and the terrain is so daring, it's really hard to be using a motorcycle to be crossing the map. So that's one con. Another con is the terrain is a bit difficult to move on because of how jagged it is and like how crazy it's built, which great aesthetically, but it does add a few issues into the gameplay experience that I've found. And the final con, but back to one of the pros, which was the floating at the start of the game, it could lead to some sky camping. Like, even if you try and like delay it, people will try and camp up there. It's a great feature, but it's hard to. But this would be an issue if the feature was kept in. Which I don't say remove the feature, I just say know that this could happen. Yeah, they're my pros and cons of Brandi's map. Now let's get into the different POIs and what I have to say about them. The first POI I'm going to talk about is the POI Peaceful Pond, and I give it a 7 out of 10 in how much I like it. And that's because it has a really cool event, yeah, but it's a bit general in the POI experience. It just feels more like another woods, which you do get quite a bit in BRs. It's the event really pulls it up though, with like the drought causing a bunch of lava at the bottom and like a whole new area opening up. I really do like that. Like, it's a really good looking POI as well. It's like those types of POIs are really well made in my opinion, and this one definitely nails it as well. Next POI is Capital Corner, and I give it an 8 out of 10, slightly more than Peaceful Pond, and that's because Neo is amazing. I do like Neo, and it's also got some really nice looking roads. It's purely aesthetic why I like the Capital Corner. It's aesthetically pleasing, and yeah, Neo POIs are goated, and they automatically gain extra points. Up next is Happy Homestead, which is a 5 out of 10 in my opinion, because it's not as good as the previous two. It's kind of generic in the POI. It does get raised up by the Pallet Man, which is there, because the Pallet Man is just amazing, but it also feels really empty apart from the Pallet Man. The POI is kind of like the second most empty POI, whilst also not. It's like really generic as well, so it really drags it down in my opinion. Like, all of these POIs look good, I need to say that now, but like, just certain aesthetic points just aren't there for me, especially with Happy Homestead. I just don't really like it as much as the other POIs. And up next is Wild Weathertop, whatever the fuck it is. Oops, sorry for all swear. I gotta be PG on this channel from now on. But please don't destroy my channel, excuse me. Oh yeah, basically. The Wild Weathertop, it's a 6 out of 10 in my opinion, because it's small, but it's got a great event. The event there is the anti-gravity, which is just amazing. Higher jumps and everything, especially with a high up POI, amazing. Such a great use of what he could use, Brandi builds. Next up is the Crazy Crate, which is a 6 out of 10 in my opinion. No, 7 out of 10 even. I am very stupid. But yeah. Crazy Crate, it's big, it's a bit empty, but what brings it back up is its uniqueness. I hardly ever see storage areas on maps. It's a really unique concept, and I enjoy it. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing this concept introduced into more mini BRs. Up next is Tumbleweed Town, and it's 8 out of 10 because, well, Western is amazing. Much like Neo, it gains points just for being a certain theme, which might be biased, but I don't care. And it's also like a really great name because, you know, Tumbleweed Town, just a bit of a beautiful name overall. But also, it's Western, and Western just gives it extra points because Westerns are great, and if you disagree, you're just factually wrong. Up next is not Crazy Crate. I am very stupid, like I said before. No, it's Multicolour Madness. And Multicolour Madness is a grand 9 out of 10, which is the highest rating I'd give any of these POIs. And that's because it's fun, unique, and large. And it isn't empty. It's the perfect POI in my opinion. Towers and colour. It's got the whole 9 yards and an extra one on top of that, which is honestly perfect POI potential. Up next is Bright Borough, which is a 6 out of 10, and what drags it down so much is the fog. That fog, if it was a short amount of time, would be fine, but because how long it lasts, I can't enjoy the POI. The fog really ruins the POI for me. Like the whole experience of seeing the POI is destroyed by the fog. It is like pretty large, which is kind of good because like a lot of houses and they're really well decorated. And also the RV park, crisp, clean, supreme. Honestly, I would land the RV park, but when the fog rolls in, I ain't staying anywhere near Brightborough. The final POI I'm talking about, because it's the final POI on the map, is Hilltop Hamlet. It's a 6 out of 10, and I really got confused on what was classified as this POI when I was trying to figure it out, because there were so many houses dotted around everywhere. It's a really confusing POI, and it's also really near spawn, like the original spawn, so you can see it. You could probably see it if you when you load it in. I am not that observant, so I don't know, but because it's right next to spawn, it annoys me that I can't enter spawn to go use the spawn creator button. Come on, fix that. But yeah, this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, go subscribe to brandibuilds, go play his mini BR, code in the description if I remember to put it there, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.